Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at an algebra problem, which is taken from a Canadian Olympiad. So let's get straight into it. Given that real numbers a and b satisfy ab plus the square root of ab plus 1 plus the square root of a squared plus b multiplied by the square root of b squared plus a is 0, find the value of a multiplied by the square root of b squared plus a plus b multiplied by the square root of a squared plus b. So to start with, let's take our first equation and let's rearrange it slightly. So we'll rearrange it to this form. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to square both sides. So on the left hand side we're going to be left with a squared b squared plus 2ab square root of a squared plus b multiplied by square root of b squared plus a plus a squared plus b multiplied by b squared plus a. We're going to be left with ab plus 1. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to expand the bracket on the left hand side of the equation. And now we can cancel out this term, and this is going to give us a squared b squared plus a cubed plus 2ab multiplied by the square root of a squared plus b multiplied by the square root of b squared plus a squared b squared plus b cubed is equal to 1. And the trick to solving this question is to notice that the left-hand side of the equation is equal to this squared. And if you can't see why this is, try expanding this out for yourself. We rewrite this equation as a multiplied by the root of b squared plus a plus b multiplied by the square root of a squared plus b, or squared, is equal to 1. So now this expression is equal to 1 or minus 1. But which one? Well, in order to figure it out, let's take a look at the original equation we were given. So this term is obviously going to be positive, and so is this term. And that's because they're all square roots. But the expression is equal to 0, which means this must be negative. Now, if the product of two numbers is negative, one of them is negative and one of them is going to be positive. And this is because a negative multiplied by a positive will give us a negative. So this means that either A is negative and B is positive, or A is positive and B is negative. Now, since both expressions are symmetrical about A and B, it doesn't really matter which case we choose. So let's just assume that A is positive and B is negative. Now, I hope you agree that we can write the expression as this. So we've got a multiplied by the square root of b squared plus a plus b multiplied by the square root of a squared plus b. And this can be written as a square root of b squared plus a plus b square root of a squared plus b plus ab minus ab. And we can factor this as a multiplied by the square root of b squared plus a plus b minus b multiplied by the negative square root of a squared plus b plus a. Okay, so now let's consider this bracket. So the square root of b squared is going to be equal to negative b, and this is because b is negative. Now, this means that the square root of b squared plus a is going to be larger than minus b, and therefore the square root of b squared plus a plus b is larger than 0. So this means that this bracket is positive, and we also know that a is positive. So here, we've got a positive times a positive, which in turn is going to give us a positive. So now let us consider this bracket. So let's look at the negative square root of a squared. Now, since a is positive, this is going to be equal to minus a. So now let's look at the square root of a squared plus b. Now, since b is negative, we've got the bit inside the square root, a squared plus b, is less than a squared. So this means that the square root of a squared plus b is less than the square root of a squared. Now, if we multiply both sides of the equation by minus 1, we've got negative square root of a squared plus b is larger than the negative square root of a squared. And notice how I flipped the sign because I multiplied by a negative number. And we already established that the negative square root of a squared is equal to minus a. So what this actually gives us is that the negative square root of a squared plus b is larger than minus a. Or in other words, the negative square root of a squared plus b plus a is larger than 0. So this means that this bracket is positive. Now we know that b is negative. So here, we've got a negative times a positive, which is going to give us negative. Now notice that we're doing a positive minus a negative. And a positive minus a negative is going to be positive. So we can rule out -1 and conclude that our final answer is 1. So how did you find this question? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and share it to a friend to see if they can solve it too.